Hi, I'm Wanhee, and for years I'd slave away in the gym pushing really hard and I'd look like this. That's pretty discouraging. Now imagine doing half of the work, just being really lazy and still getting double, triple, quadruple the results and now looking like this. Now most things in life, being lazy is a shortcut to failure, but when it comes to fitness and building an aesthetic body, it can actually be a superpower. Let me explain the laziest way to build an aesthetic body and why that might work for you. Let's get into it. So let's imagine you're a lazy guy. You don't want to do any extra work than is necessary to build a body that kind of looks good. When you take your shirt off, when you go to the beach, when you wear clothes, it just looks good, right? That's what you care about. Let me just break it down for you. And step one is to train only 2 to 3 times a week. Personally, I do it 3 times a week. I think that's the perfect balance between progress, consistency, and momentum. You remember the things that happened last session. You can make tweaks. It's enough rest so you can actually get stronger. It's just that perfect balance where you have enough rest days away from the gym so you can actually start to look forward to the gym and it never becomes this overbearing thing, which is why so many guys quit and burn out. Because if you train every day, if you train 5 times, 6 times a week, then it suddenly just feels like something you have to do all the time, and it's very easy to lose that motivation, lose that enthusiasm. And for the busy guys amongst you, I have a guy who I coached who's really busy. He just trains twice a week and he's building mad consistency, getting stronger, getting great results. So just train 2 to 3 times a week. Step 2, you want to lift mostly compound movements. I always talk about the 80-20 rule. 80% of your focus of your workout routine itself should be on compound movements that train multiple muscle groups. This is the lazy way. You might be thinking, oh, those compound movements are really difficult, but this is the way you kill 3 birds with 1 stone. When you do an incline bench, not only are you getting your chest, you're getting your shoulders, you're getting your triceps, all of those, and even your abs when you do free weight compound movements. So you're working 4 things, as opposed to a guy who has an ab day, a chest day, an arm day, a back day. He's doing 4 times the work as you, whereas you're just a lazy guy leaning back, pressing some bar weight, and boom, you just look great. Overhead press, same idea. You work all 3 heads of the shoulder, you work your triceps, you work your whole body, in fact, your core, your back, your legs even to stabilize, your upper chest. So overhead press, again, amazing exercise. Compare that with a guy who's doing upright rows for the front, lateral raises for the side, and then rear delt flies for the back. I'm not saying those exercises have no place in the routine. I mean, you can use those exercises to great effect, but they form the 20%. The meat, the bread, the butter, the whatever you call it, the main course, the 80% has to be the compound movements. And that's actually how you train in this kind of efficiently lazy way. Does that make sense? Another thing that you should take into account is just do 1 to 3 sets. The most sets that I'll do for an exercise is 3 sets when it comes to these big compound movements. Sometimes I'll even do 1 set when it comes to certain leg exercises. Like last time I did 1 set of sissy squats, 1 set of single leg Romanian deadlifts. Mike Mensa, the OG minimalist, talks about this. 1 set that is done to the right intensity can be a great stimulus for strength, great stimulus for muscle growth. So don't be doing 4, 5, 6, 7 sets every time you go hit 1 exercise. I feel 2 sets is actually really, really good, especially with some unilateral movements where you feel like you're doing one side, next side, one side, next side. Experiment with the 2-set method. 1 to 3 sets, boom, the lazy way. Next is you want to lift in the 4 to 10 rep range. Again, super lazy. You don't even want to go above 10. If you see a lot of guys in the gym, they're doing like 3 sets of 15 reps, 5 sets of 10, all this kind of stuff. None of that. You're a lazy guy. You're doing 4 reps and you take fat rest periods. Take 6 reps, 8 reps. The most you'll ever go on the lighter exercises, maybe you go up to 10 reps. 4 reps to 8 reps is the perfect range to get stronger, because you can actually get stronger in that rep range before burning out, and you can build muscle. You can actually cause muscle hypertrophy. So stay in that 4 to 10 rep range, absolute sweet spot. Now, if you want the exact system that I use, my rep ranges, my sets, you just literally train like 3 hours a week and you build an aesthetic body, V-taper, and you want to take the guesswork out of it and just follow what I do, hit the first link in the description, Aesthetic Body Blueprint. It's a game changer. It's the laziest way. Next, you want to rest a lot. Now, imagine we had like one of those David Attenborough camera follow crew, like documentary style, and you were filming me in the gym. They were filming you in the gym as well. I guarantee you, I will be resting more than you. Now, that's maybe not true because maybe you don't even gym. You're just resting on the couch the whole time. I'm talking about the guys that actually go to the gym. You probably don't rest enough. Now, when when you talk about power lifters, these guys be resting a long time, like 5 minute plus, because they realize that in order to perform like maximal strength capacity, they not only need to recover their breath and their muscle, they need to recover their CNS, their mental, their neurological readiness has to come up again. And it's the same for us. What you do when you're trying to get stronger in the 4 to 10 rep range is between each set, take big rest. When I do negatives training, which is a big part of building up to certain key exercises, I like to take 1 minute rest even between a rep. And between exercises, I'm usually resting 3 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, 6 minutes. What do I do while I rest? I just walk around, get my steps in, just chill. Think about that. How lazy is that? Meanwhile, most guys are like with the phone, like timing their, okay, got 30 seconds to rest. And they're not even resting. Mentally, they're not even resting. Because they're always like, oh, got 10 seconds left. Oh, what do I have to think about for 10 seconds to make me feel better? Okay, 10, 5, 4. Okay, let's go again. And you're sweating. What the hell is that? Meanwhile, I'm just doing 4 reps, chilling, 5 minutes, going on again, doing 6 reps, just chilling. That is the lazy way. And ironically, it's freaking effective at building crazy strength, setting personal records, and building great muscle. So rest a lot. Next, now most people think about protein like, okay, I need to just get more protein. So they're like, how much protein can I get? Okay, let me get a protein shake, let me get chicken breast, let me get eggs, let me get this, and it's like protein, and then you get like 180 grams of protein, right? And you're like, wow, that's amazing. Except you've probably gone way over your daily caloric goal, so you've eaten at probably a surplus, and you feel super full. It's really costly, and the next day you're like, shit, I gotta do that every day? Like, how am I gonna do that? Not enough people talk about this. So as a guy who's trying to build an aesthetic body in a lazy way, you don't want to start by just maxing out protein. What you want to do is change the ratio. Start by changing the protein to carb ratio. Increase the protein, lower the carbs. Now, for any Asians watching this, we grew up on masses of carbs, right? Carbs is our main, and then the meat and all the other stuff is like our side dish. Whereas in the West, usually it's like the steak's the main and the potatoes the side, right? So for us Asians, the biggest low-hanging fruit, biggest win you can do is just lower the amount of rice you put on the plate and increase the amount of meat you put on the plate. So the meat becomes the main and the carb becomes the little friend. Just start by doing that and start having what I'm gonna start calling protein dominant meals. That's the only switch you need to make as step 1. Step 2, you can add shakes, because shakes allow you to add protein without complicating buying groceries, cooking. Protein shakes are great. Okay, I haven't had protein shakes in a long time because I just love cooking and I love having great meat and stuff. But recently, over the summer when I'm trying to get lean and it's like, it's a little difficult and I want to increase the ratio without pumping up the total caloric intake, boom, protein shakes from the convenience store close to my house, and they taste freaking amazing. Give you a couple more tips. Just having frozen chicken breast that you defrost every day, you know, maybe once or 3 times a week maybe. Minced beef, just having minced beef, like good minced beef with salt or butter, just with a little bit of rice, having some fish sauce on there if you're like into that Asian taste. Super delicious. If you want to just get 6 eggs in, this is really good. I have some Greek yogurt, which is really good. So those are my protein sources, and it's a very lazy way to do it because those are single ingredient foods that you can just get and then just eat, and the protein's good. Take advantage of that. Next is to sleep a lot. Be a Snorlax. Now, Snorlax is a fat Pokemon. So I'm not saying become like Snorlax, but Snorlax sleeps a lot, and that's what you want to do. Sleep nowadays is becoming recognized as one of the most important things for not just your overall health, but for proper muscle building and fat loss. You repair and build muscle while you sleep. You lose fat when you sleep. You actually struggle to lose fat if you're on low sleep. Plus, when you have high stress as a result of bad sleep, you're more likely to binge eat, you're more likely to fall off your patterns. When you have crappy sleep, you have lower dopamine, which controls your motivation. So you're more likely to fall off your training routine and your diet. So imagine you're a lazy guy. The best thing you can do is just sleep like 8 hours, 10 hours, just sleep loads. Don't start listening to all these productivity gurus that are like, I sleep 5 hours and just work my ass off. Just sleep loads and sleep in a dark ass room. Sleep after having taken some magnesium and theanine. Sleep by training well in the AM so you're actually tired and deserving of sleep in the evening. Don't eat too close to bedtime. Cut out all the lights like 1 to 2 hours before your bed. Boom. Simple things, guys. Improve your sleep. That's the lazy way. Next, you want to eat 1 to 2 times a day. If you're a lazy guy, you don't want to be chopping up onions 3 times a day. You don't want to be like mixing up eggs with like some special saffron, whatever, risotto rice and making it every day, because preparing it, thinking about the recipe, buying it, cleaning it, like scraping the egg off the pan, all of these are just extra things that you do like 3 days because you're motivated, and then you're like, Jesus, I'm not doing that again. So don't be doing so many of those meals. Just do one meal a day, which works amazing for so many people. One meal a day, I tried it, I can't sustain it. I just get a little bit too hungry in the middle of the day. So I do 2 meals a day. I do a lunch and I do a dinner. And you can call that intermittent fasting. You can call that 2 meals a day. You can call that 1.5 meals a day because my lunch is pretty light. But that's the setup. Just be lazy. Just don't have breakfast. Just eat once or eat twice. And what is the added benefit of that is that if you're a big portion eater like me, then you're going to be able to eat like proper big portions and still get fairly lean. Next, instead of doing so much cardio, just walk slowly like a pregnant woman with a dog. Everybody is doing running. They're buying these clothes. They're doing climbing. Everybody's doing some crazy cardio. Cycling, jiu-jitsu. I do jiu-jitsu. Of course, those things are great. Keep doing them. They're great for your health and da. If you're a lazy guy and you just want to look good, build muscle, get lean, you don't need to do none of that. Just double down on walking and don't even walk fast. Walk like slow AF, like a pregnant woman with a dog, and just try to get 10K steps, 12K steps a day. Divide that up if you want. 2 walks a day. Just be a lazy bum and just walk real slow. That's it. You follow those 8 steps. That is possibly the laziest way to build muscle and lose fat and build an aesthetic body that actually looks good in and out of clothes. If you want this system that I use broken down into step-by-step formulas so you know exactly what to do and how to build that body, click the first link in the description. Aesthetic Body Blueprint. See you next week. Build the body that you want. Bye-bye.